Well, hello Rockhounds, Lapidary lovers. Mike here, welcome back to my channel. I'm back from Wyoming, where I did some rockhounding in southeastern Wyoming, and I found a good spot, a really good spot. I'm not telling you where it is though, it's my little secret. But I'll put a link in the upper right to that rockhounding adventure in southeast Wyoming. I think you'll find it interesting. But here's some of the rocks I brought back from there. And I flew out there this time, so I had to ship this stuff home instead of just driving out and bringing it home with me. I had way too many rocks to take on the airplane with me on the way back. I also did some rock hounding in Arizona, and I'll put a link to one of those videos in the upper right as well. But I had so much stuff I had to ship it, and well, we'll talk a little bit about the perils of shipping first before we get into dealing with some of these rocks. I want to cut a couple of them and see what they look like on the inside. So we'll have a little session with the Lortone Lapidary saw here in a while. But first off, I shipped them back in priority mail boxes, large priority mail boxes. And I padded them really well with lots of bubble wrap and other stuff. And the post office, as per usual, has totally managed to mangle them, okay? I mean, this big petrified log I found, somehow they managed to break it in half, okay? I don't know how they did that. Well, actually, I do, because I have friends who work for the post office. My stepsons work for the post office, so I've heard horror stories about how they treat the packages there. And I don't have any trouble believing those horror stories, because this particular box, which had contained some stuff I collected in Arizona, came looking like it had been run over by a truck, maybe multiple times, okay? And there was a nice big piece of beautiful rainbow petrified wood in here that I was planning on making bookends out of. But now it looks like I'll probably be tumbling it, if anything, because it's all shattered into a million pieces. Fortunately, the other stuff that was packed in here seems to be undamaged, but yeah, this piece of petrified wood, it made the ultimate sacrifice. So, and I was thinking this is probably not a good idea. I should be using FedEx or UPS, but I was in a small town. I was in a hurry. I just got some boxes at the post office, some bubble wrap, packed it all up, and sure enough, the USPS has done their usual crappy job of delivering this stuff. Damaged, broken, destroyed. So, if you're shipping pretty rocks across the country, I don't recommend using the U.S. Postal Service, all right? Or, if you do, pad the heck out of it. I mean, I thought these were padded plenty good, and, well, apparently not. Between their drop kicking them, pitching them, and running over them, apparently, with trucks, they can manage to destroy just about anything. I would recommend using FedEx or UPS probably, especially if you've got some really valuable rocks, and maybe have them pack them for you and get some insurance, okay? Probably a good idea. Otherwise, you're liable to end up in the same situation I am. Oh, I might try epoxying that back together. A little JB weld probably won't even show. So, we'll see. Anyway, I'm looking through these rocks, and if you watch the video of me rock hounding out there, I'm thinking this might be agate, this big thing right here. I mean, it could just be multicolored Jasper, but it might be agate. So I think what I want to do is I want to cut it and see what it looks like on the inside. Now, I found two for sure agates when I was out there, but I'm looking through the rocks I collected. I picked this one up. I didn't even look at it really closely. This is agate. I thought this was red Jasper. This is agate. So, I think this might... Well, it's got a lot of pits in it, unfortunately, so it probably won't tumble up very well. And I'm tempted to tumble that. I got a lot of banded iron while I was out there, and I've kind of sorted it into two piles. A lot of it's already well river tumbled and rounded, and I'm thinking I could tumble this in my tumbler and polish this stuff up just gorgeous. And it comes in several different kinds. We've got some orange Jasper and the black hematite type, and then we've got some that are sort of a much darker color. This is like purple, deep dark purple Jasper with the black hematite, and then just multicolored stuff. I should wet it down, but this has got all kinds of different colors of Jasper in it. So I'm thinking this stuff will tumble nice. I don't think these pieces will tumble nice. This piece fell apart, again, in shipping, so obviously if it's falling apart, it's not going to tumble. These are just kind of too angular and have too many concavities. I don't think they'll tumble nice. Here's another piece of that purplish stuff. Got this piece of mustard Jasper, which kind of looks like a guitar pick. And in that last video, I said, hey, if there's any rockhounds out there who play guitar and want a mustard Jasper guitar pick, let me know. So I haven't heard anything yet, but first person who says they want it can have it. I'll ship it to them, okay? Within the U.S., all right? Within the U.S. Speaking of Jasper, we've got all kinds of Jaspers up here. Multicolored, banded, interesting, weird stuff. I am not sure what this is. This is somewhere between Jasper and agate, and it might actually have some agate in it. We might cut this one too. I'm thinking we're going to cut these two rocks and have a look at what's inside. I'm thinking these agates probably need to be tumbled, although I don't know how that one's going to come out. That's probably going to need to be in rough grit for a very long time. Got a deep pit in it right there too. Might tumble some of these Jaspers just to see how they come out. Very interesting colors in that one. Very interesting colors in this one. Well, I think it might be too big to tumble. I'm not sure. Maybe in my biggest tumbler. Over here on my homemade large capacity tumbler, I do have a 12-pound barrel on there, so I could probably tumble it in that. That one might tumble up nice. It's got some really crazy colors on it. Let me wet it down and show you. So yeah, look at the colors in that. Just crazy stuff. I'm sorely tempted to cut into this one too, so I haven't really decided what to do with it. I might cut it, or I might just try to tumble it as is. I'm thinking maybe if I cut into it, we'll see some interesting coloration inside, and the resulting pieces might be easier to tumble than this big thing right here. So I think that's what I'm going to do, just trying to figure out what to do with all these rocks I collected. I just can't leave them sitting around, so I think this stuff's all going to get tumbled. This might get cut. Some of these are going to get tumbled. This is going to get cut. This is going to get cut. And this stuff I will just set aside with the rest of my non-tumbleable banded iron until I figure out what to do with it. I may put together a package to sell on eBay, or maybe we'll have a contest and give some away. We'll see about that. Oh, and then I've got this rock here, which I'm not sure exactly what to do with. It's got lots of bands of color in it, for sure. It just really doesn't look like anything that's going to tumble well, so I don't know. I mean, I could try tumbling it. It may just fall apart, but yeah, we'll see. So anyway, let's get to cutting. Let me get the Lortone saw limbered up, and we'll put this in, and we'll cut it first, and we'll cut into this, and we may cut into this, and see what we got here. All right. I've got the big agate looking thing. It might be more Jasper than agate, but I've got it loaded into the Lortone Lapidary saw. Yes, I've been cutting banded iron in it again. You can tell by the reddish crud in there. But let's give it a try and see what we get if we clean up this face a little bit. See what it looks like on the inside. Okay, I heard a thud and the saw got quiet. Speaking of saws, though, there's going to be some chainsaws in the background working on the farm here. Sorry about the background noise, but let's see what we've got in here. Well, we got a piece off. Interesting. Let me take a close-up look at that. Very interesting. Well, there is some agate in there, I'd say, or at least a band of transparent quartz. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's take a look at this up on the bench. And maybe I'll set up the saw to try and take a thin slice off of this, and we'll see what that looks like, okay? Well, it's definitely not as agate-y on the inside as I was hoping it would be. It looks like we got some red jasper on the outside, some purple jasper on the inside, and there's like a band of, looks like transparent or at least semi-transparent quartz between the two jaspers. So I've set the saw to take a thin cut, somewhere between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch, and we'll see what that looks like and see if we reveal anything else on the inside and decide whether we want to take any more cuts on this rock or move on to something else. Well, let's have a look and see what we got. Nice little slice here. Let me clean it off, and we'll take a look at it up on the bench and see if we want to continue cutting this rock or move on to something else. Yeah. Well, I decided to go ahead and pull the rock out. But check this out. I don't know if you can hear me over the chainsaws. It's a busy day here at the farm. And you can see it's got some transparent agate stuff in it. So there is some agate in here. And I'm looking at the rock, and it looks like there might be more agate stuff over here. So this rock might benefit from being cut from this side, possibly. So we might do that. But I think I'm going to set this rock aside for now, and we'll cut something else. So I'm eager to know what in the world is in here. This almost looks like waterline agate from some sides. I don't know if that's what it is, but let me get it in the saw, and we'll see. Well, let's see what we've got here. Ooh. Well, that does look like a little bit like waterline agate. Yeah. Let me try cutting a thin slice, and we'll see what that looks like, see how translucent it is. I'll cut a nice thin slice. See what that looks like. Meantime, we'll take a look at this one close up on the bench. So here's this one. It's got some interesting patterns and a little bit of color to it. We'll see what a thin slice looks like here in a couple minutes. So here's the piece I just cut off. Okay, looks okay, right? Not too impressive, but let me show you this. Look at how translucent it is. It almost looks like wood, but I don't really think it's petrified wood. I think it's just some sort of waterline agate. But that is cool. I like that. That's really cool. Very nice. Let me pull the rock out, and we'll take a look at it and decide if we want to cut any more on it, or maybe move and cut a different side or something. I had a bit of a change of mind. I was going to pull this rock out, but I got to looking at it, and it looks like we're getting into some interesting patterning down here. So what I've done instead is reposition it so I can get another cut or two off of it. So let me try another thin cut and see what we expose. Alright, I've already got it set to take another thin cut. So let me get the saw closed up and get it started. Okay, here's the latest cut. It's got some interesting sort of braided lines down here. Let me show you what it looks like looking through it. See that? Kind of neat. I think I might take one more thin cut off of this this piece, and then we'll move on to something else. Okay, so here's the last piece I cut. It didn't turn out to be as good as I'd hoped. I mean, it's still got this sort of braided pattern in it down here, but I was hoping we'd see some more of this sort of reddish brown color, but we're not getting it. So I pulled the whole rock out, and I think we'll go on to cutting something else and save this for now. I do like these, though. These are pretty. I think these would be nice sails for like wind chimes or something, to drill a little hole in it and use it to catch the wind on a wind chime and drive the clapper back and forth. So I think these would be good for that. They're just not turning out quite as pretty as I'd hoped. The inside of this waterline agate is not quite as pretty as I hoped it would be. But hey, not bad for finding it while walking around in the hills in Wyoming. Okay. So what do we want to cut next? Well, I've got this ugly mystery rock here. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Is it agate? Is it chert? Is it jasper? What is under this crust? So I propose to put this in the saw and take a cut across here so we can see what's going on inside this rock underneath the crust. It might be beautiful, it might be a bomb, but let's throw it in the saw and find out. There we go, we got the little rock in the saw. Let's get the lid closed and get her cut. It shouldn't take too long, it's not a big rock. Okay, let's see what we've got. Whew, a lot of mist is what we got, and a piece. That might be banded chert. That's what I'm thinking we've got here, banded chert. Yeah, I think that's what we've got. Let me pull this out and we'll take a look at it up on the bench. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is banded chert. It's got some veins and some rusty red-orange stuff in it, but yeah, it certainly looks like chert to me. So, I don't know, I might tumble this piece. I might tumble both pieces, although this one will probably break up. But yeah, I might throw this in my box of rocks to be tumbled. This might come out pretty when it's tumbled. We'll see. Okay. Well, I've got the saw out. I'm very curious about this rock here. I want to know what's going on inside it. It looks like it looks like big swirls of multicolored jasper to me. Basically, pretty much every color in the rainbow is represented in there somewhere. So, thinking if I just cut it across here, we'll see what's inside, and maybe I'll cut off a piece that'll tumble nice. So, maybe take a fairly heavy cut across there, and we'll see what's on the inside. I like seeing what's on the inside, cutting through the outer crust, and see what's on the inside. So let me get this in the saw, and we'll get it cut. Okay, I'm thinking right about there is going to make a good cut. We should be able to see what's on the inside. Plus, we'll cut off a piece big enough to tumble if it's pretty. So let me get the door closed, and we'll get the saw started. Well, here's the piece that I cut off. It kind of spalled off there at the end before the cut was complete, but I can just break that piece off. And look at the intricate pattern in there. My goodness. I'll have to give you a close-up look at this, and I'll give you a close-up look at the rock still in the saw. I mean, the pattern is just so intricate. It looks like it's been broken or faulted many times and infilled with more jasper of different colors. It's very weird. Very weird indeed. I'll give you a look at the rock in the saw. Yeah, so there's the rock in the saw. I'm thinking I'm going to take one thin slice off of it and see what that looks like. And then figure out what to do with this rock after that. Well, here's the thin section I cut off. It's not the least bit translucent, so I don't think there's any point in cutting any more thin pieces. It is really cool looking, though. So I am probably going to tumble this piece. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. What I might do is break it up or cut it into a couple more pieces small enough to tumble. And I think this weird jasper pattern will look really cool once it's tumbled and polished. So there's all the rocks we're going to cut today, right there. Not too bad considering I just picked these all up off the ground in Wyoming. And I got a bunch more too. Over here. And you'll probably see some of these rocks in the future as I tumble stuff. I'm going to tumble all this banded iron, and this is going to come out gorgeous. I'm going to tumble these agates and this jasper over here, and they're going to come out pretty. And look, I glued my big log of petrified wood back together that the U.S. Postal Service destroyed. I used some JB Weld, which is almost the exact same color after mixed up as this dark brown wood. You can still see the fissure in places where it broke, but if I really want to, I could fill that with some more JB Weld and maybe even get really fancy and paint it the exact same color as the log. But I don't think I'm going to bother. This might just wind up in our rock garden. And I've still got my little triangular thin piece of mustard jasper here. And yeah, first person in the comments who says they want it as a guitar pick, they can have it. So get a hold of me. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this session at the saw, cutting up the rocks I brought back from Wyoming. If so, give the video a like, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to see my future lapidary videos. There'll be more. There'll be more cutting stuff up with the saw, and there'll be more rock tumbling, rock polishing, and whatnot. I may even get into cabbing in the future. We'll see. So subscribe to see those future videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching this one. Bye.